welcome to my videos and my blog. In this time, I'm going to talk about NFL 2024 season, week 16, scores. Well, this last weekend was played the NFL season week 16, were played the games, and now there is only two weeks left to finish the NFL 2024 regular season. So in this week, the week 16, there were a lot of teams that qualified to the playoffs and a lot of teams that were eliminated for the playoffs. So for that reason, I'm going to talk about. I'm creating this video because I'm going to talk about what happened in the games played in this week and how are the NFL standings are through our 16 weeks of games. So let's start. Well, everything started the last week in the Thursday night football in a divisional game where the Los Angeles Chargers defeated the Denver Broncos 34-27. This was before this game, this was a must win for both teams because any team that won this game will qualify to the playoffs, and this because the Chargers won this game, they qualified to the playoffs. This was a very great game where this game could be divided into half. In the first half, the Broncos dominated this game and they couldn't close and finish this game in the halftime. There was this opportunity, and in the second half, the Chargers overcome and they come back and won this game in the end, in the fourth quarter, and they won it by 7 point difference. Something weird here was that in the end of the second quarter before the halftime, there was a free kick goal. This was a field goal that the Chargers scored, but this was a typical field goal. It was a free kick. It's something that it hasn't happened in 50 years or 40 years. It was since the 1976. It was something weird, but I think that since that moment the Chargers, this was the type ping pong, and the Chargers in the end won this game 34-27. With this victory, the Chargers improved to a nice six record and they clinched a spot to the playoff, and the Broncos fell to a nice 6 record, and now the Broncos need to win any of the last two games to qualify to the playoffs. If they lose both games, they're going to be eliminated. And in the last Saturday, we had two games. The four teams that played the last Saturday will play tomorrow in the NFL Christmas Day. So in the Saturday's first game, the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning champion team, defeated the Houston Texans 27-19. This was a close game where it was a typical game from the Chiefs where they didn't played a very great game, but in the end they could get the victory. The Chiefs always had the lead of the game. They had the game under control, and in the end they won this game easily, 27-19. With this victory, the Chiefs improved to a 14-1 record, and the Texans fell to a nice 6 record. One teams are leading their division respectively. The Chiefs won the AFC West. They won that division, and they are in this moment the number one set. So they need to win tomorrow against the Steelers to clinch the number one set in the AFC, and all the playoffs in the AFC will pass to Kansas City, and the Chiefs and the Texans. Even with the loss, they most probably they're gonna to win this division because they only need one victory to clinch the AFC South. In the Saturday's second game, this was a bad game for me because my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, traveled to Baltimore and they unfortunately lost against the Baltimore Ravens. You can see here that the difference was 17-point difference, but this game was very close. The big difference is that the Steelers made two big mistakes, especially Russell Wilson, that he had a fumble and he threw an interception, and the Ravens scored 14 points off, and this was the difference to lose this game. You know that this kind of games, there is always defined by the errors, and the Steelers made the errors, and for that reason, the Steelers lost that game. With this victory, the Ravens improved to a 10-5 record, and the Steelers fell to a 10-5 record. You can see here that both teams have the same record, 10-5, but because the Steelers have a better performance in the AFC games, I think so. The Steelers are leading the AFC North. So also the Steelers was the opportunity to to win the AFC North the last Saturday with a victory, and now the Steelers will have to win both games, the last two games, against the Chiefs and against the Bengals to win this division, or wait that the Ravens lost one game to, or the two games to clinch the AFC North. It looks very difficult, but it's not impossible. But the Steelers put in a lot of problems, and with this victory, the Ravens clinch a spot to the playoffs. And the games that were played this last Sunday, the Atlanta Falcons didn't have any problem and defeated easily the New York Giants 34-7. Now, there is not much to talk about this game. The Falcons had an easy game. The Giants are the worst team in the league. In this moment, they have the number one set in the NFL draft 2025, and the Falcons dominate this game. They won easily. They have an easy game. There is not much to say. With this victory, the Falcons improved to a 8-7 record, and because the Buccaners lost against the Cowboys in the Sunday Night Football, now the Falcons are leading the NFC South, and they control its destiny, because if the Falcons win this week, the week 17, they're gonna to win the NFC South, and they're gonna to qualify to the playoffs. And the Giants fell to a 2-13 record. They are the worst team in the league, and they are waiting that this season is over. In another divisional game, the Detroit Lions traveled to Chicago, and they defeated the Chicago Bears 34-17. The Detroit Lions dominated this game. They were leading the game 13-0 in the end of the third quarter, and they were leading 27-14 in the halftime. They had an easy game, and there is not much to say. The Lions had an easy game, and Jared Goff played a tremendous game because he threw 3 touchdowns. With this victory, the Detroit Lions improved to a 13-2 record, but even that this is very rare, because this is a tremendous record, they still can win each division, the NFC North, and they can clinch the NFC, the number one set in the NFC, because the Vikings and the Eagles are playing a very great football. And the Bears fell to a 4-11 record. They have 7 straight losses, and they are eliminated. In another game, the Carolina Panthers defeated the Arizona Cardinals 36-30. About this game, this was, I think, the best game of the week. Well, the second best game of the week, because it was tremendous, and this game was played in overtime. The Panthers were leading 7-0 in the halftime, but in the second quarter, the Cardinals reacted, and they scored 17 points, but the Panthers scored 13 points, and the Panthers were only leading in the halftime 20-13. In the third quarter, the Panthers had them under control, because they were leading 23-20 in the end of the third quarter, and I thought that the Panthers were going to win this game, but not the Cardinals. The Cardinals forced an overtime, because they scored a field goal in the last play of the regular time, and they forced the overtime, but the Panthers won, because they won a touchdown. They scored a touchdown in the overtime, and they won this game. With this victory, the Panthers improved to a 4-11 record, but they were eliminated since the last week. And the Cardinals, with this loss, they fell to a 7-8 record, and they are officially eliminated. And really, this is very bad and sad for the Cardinals, because in the beginning of December, they were leading the NFC West, and I thought that they were gonna to win that division, but they started to play very bad in all December and in the last 2 weeks of November, and for that reason they were eliminated. In another game, the Los Angeles Rams traveled to New York and defeated the New York Jets 19-9. Remember that I told you that it is always complicated for the West Coast team to travel to the East Coast and play in the 13 o'clock Eastern time, because remember that there is 3 hours difference, and when there is 13 o'clock Eastern time in the East Coast, right, is 10 o'clock in the Pacific time. So that is always difficult, and we could see why, because the Rams battle a lot in this game, because in the end of the third quarter, in the end of the third quarter, the Rams were trailing by 3-point difference, 9-6. But again, like it's something that has happened with the Jets is that they play a tremendous game or a good game in the first half, in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter is when the Jets can handle the victory, and most of the time they lose the game. The Rams scored 13 points in the fourth quarter, and for that reason they won this game 19-9. With this victory, the Rams improved to a nice record, and they are leading the the NFC West Division. And thanks that the Seattle Seahawks lost this week against the Vikings. If the Rams win this game in this week 17, in the next week, they are gonna to win the NFC West, something that I didn't expect it. And the Jets fell to a 4-11 record, and they are eliminated. They were eliminated since 2 weeks ago. In another game, and I think that the best game of the week, the Washington Commanders defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 36-13. This was a tremendous game, I'm not gonna lie, but the Commanders took advantage that since the first quarter, Jalen Hurts left the game because he got a concussion, yes, and he entered to the concussion protocol, and he didn't return to the game. But the Eagles play, even that he didn't play the rest of the game. The Eagles play a tremendous game, but I think that the Eagles lost this game because they had the game under control. They had the possibility to win this game and to win the division, but they missed it. The Eagles were leading in the halftime 21-14. And in the end of the third quarter, the Eagles were leading 27-14, and they were leading by 13-point difference. And to be honest, I thought that the Eagles had the game under control because they before this game they had 11 straight victories. This was amazing, and I didn't expect that the Eagles could let that the Commanders tie this game. But the Commanders scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. The Eagles only won, and the Commanders won this game 36-33. The Commanders, the best player was Jaden Daniels, that he threw five touchdowns, and they scored in the last drive of the game. Also, something important is that remember in the Eagles before the Commanders scored the last touchdown in the game, the Eagles there was a tier, and I don't remember, and Devonta Smith couldn't catch that football, and if Devonta Smith had caught that football, the game was over, but he couldn't. And after that, the Jaden Daniels led the Commanders to the winning touchdown, and they won the game. With this victory, the Commanders improved to a 10-5 record. I think that with this victory, they clinched a spot to the playoffs, and the Eagles fell to a 12-3 record. Because this loss, the Eagles they aren't winning. They have no winning the NFC North. And if the Eagles win the next week, they are going to win this division. So the Commanders still have possibility to win this division. It looks very difficult because they will have to win both games and wait that the Eagles lost both games, but it's not impossible. In another game, the Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Cleveland Browns 24-6. There is not much to say about this game because the Bengals were a better team and the Browns are one of the worst teams in the league. The Bengals were leading 17-0 in the halftime, and in that moment the game was over. In the end, the Bengals won the game 24-6. And with this victory, the Bengals improved to a 7-8 record. And now the Bengals have still possibility, very small, to qualify to the playoff, but they have possibility. They need to win the last two games, where they will have to defeat the Broncos and the Steelers, and wait that the Broncos don't win both games to qualify to the playoffs. It looks very difficult, but not possible. And the Browns fell to a 12 record, and they were eliminated since 3 weeks ago. In another game, the Indianapolis Colts defeated the Tennessee Titans 38-30. You can see here that the score was only 8-point difference, but to be honest, the Colts were a better team, and they had the game under control, and the fight in the halftime because they were leading 24-7. They were leading 31-7 or 31-7 in the third quarter, and in that moment the game was over. After that, the Colts relaxed its game, and for that reason, the Titans scored points and they reduced the difference of this game. But in the end, the Colts had an easy game with this victory. The Colts improved to a 7-8 record, and they still have possibilities to enter to the playoff, but very small at what happened with the Bengals, because the Colts will need to will need to win the last two games, and they will have to wait that the Bengals and the Broncos don't win the last two games to qualify to the playoffs. It looks very difficult, almost impossible, but they will have to win both games and wait another combination. And the Titans are one of the worst teams in the league. They fell to a 12 record, and they are waiting that this season is over. And in another game, the Seattle Seahawks lost against the Minnesota Vikings 24-27. This was a must-to game to the Seattle Seahawks to try to qualify to the playoffs and to try to win the NFC West. But they was this opportunity, because remember that this week and the last week they lost against the Packers and Vikings, and they were playing in home. They waste these two very important opportunities because they will play in home. They were playing in home, and for that reason, the most probably is that the Seattle Seahawks are gonna to be eliminated because they couldn't handle or to take advantage or to play in home. The Minnesota Vikings play a tremendous game, and Sam Darnold led the Vikings drive, the winning drive, to win this game. The Sam Darnold played a tremendous game because he threw three touchdowns that led the victory to the Minnesota Vikings 27-24. The Seattle Seahawks had the opportunity to tie this game and force an overtime, but his kicker Jason Meir missed a field goal of 16 yards. Of course, it was very difficult, and for that reason, they lost this game. With this victory, the Vikings improved to a 13-2 record. They clinched a spot to the playoffs since the last week or 2 weeks ago, and now they still have the opportunity to win the division, the NFC North, and to be the number one set in the NFC. This was amazing because if the Vikings will win this game and they will defeat the Lions in the last week, they are gonna to win the number one set. This will be amazing. And how I told you, the Seattle Seahawks fell to a A7 record, and then most probably they are gonna to lose they are not gonna to qualify to the playoff because they need to win the last two games and wait that the Rams lost both games to qualify to the playoffs. In another game, the Buffalo Bills defeated the New England Patriots 24-27. You know that there is a lot of difference between the Bills and the Patriots because the Bills are one of the best team in the league and the Patriots one of the worst team in the league. But you know that when there is a divisional game, everything is closer and stronger, and the Bills battle a lot to win this game. The Bills didn't play a very great football, especially Josh Allen, but because the Bills are a better team, they won this game, and the Patriots play a tremendous game. They forced the Bills to play his best football, and in the end, because the Bills are better team, they won this game 24-21. With this victory, the Bills improved to a 12-2 record. Remember that the 3 or 2 weeks ago, they clinched a spot to the playoffs, and they won the AFC North. And the Patriots fell to a 3-12 record, and they were eliminated since 3 weeks ago. In another game, two of the worst team in the league, the Las Vegas Raiders defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 19-14. There is not much to say about this game because both teams are very bad. The most important is that the Raiders won this game, and with this victory, the Raiders could 10 straight losing streak. This is great for them, but also the Raiders are the Raiders because with this victory, because they improved to a 3-12 record. Now they are not the worst team in the league, and they don't have the control to be the number one set in the NFL draft 2025. So they are not going to have the number one selection. This is very sad for them. And the Jaguars, there is not much to say. They fell to a 3-12 record, and they are one of the worst team in the league. In another game, the Miami Dolphins didn't have any problem and defeated the San Francisco 49ers 29-17. Before this game, the 49ers were eliminated from the playoff because the Commanders defeated the Eagles. So there is not much to play for the 49ers, and the Miami Dolphins needed to win this game to still have possibilities to enter to the playoff. They won this game. It could be easily because the 49ers, in my opinion, are the deception of the season, because before this season, I predicted that the 49ers were going to win the NFC and they're going to represent the NFC in the next Super Bowl. And I thought it would be a rematch, but it wasn't. And the Dolphins won this game by 8-point difference, by 12-point difference, sorry. With this victory, the Dolphins, who I told you, still are in the hunt to enter to the playoffs. It's very difficult because they will have to win the last two games and wait that the Bengals and the Colts and wait that the Broncos, neither the Colts, neither the Bengals won the last two games to qualify to the playoffs. It looks very difficult and very impossible. And the 49ers, who I told you before this game, they were eliminated. In this moment, they have a 6-9 record. They are in the bottom of the NFC West. And this is a deception because nobody expected that the 49ers will be in the bottom in this season. So this was a very bad performance from the team. And the Sunday Night Football, in a very unpredictable game, the Dallas Cowboys defeated, and it is a surprise, defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-24. Before this game, because the Commanders defeated the Eagles, the Cowboys were eliminated, and the Cowboys didn't mind that, and they played a tremendous game, and they defeated the Buccaneers 26-24. About this game, this was a must to win the Buccaneers, because they knew before the game that the Falcons had defeated the Giants, and they need to win this game. Before this game, the Bucs had his destiny under control, because they only needed to win the last three games, but they couldn't, and now they're in risks to be eliminated. About this game, the Cowboys were playing a very great football. They always leading the game, and they deserve this victory. The Buccaneers had the opportunity to win this game in the last drive, but they couldn't. And now the Cowboys won the game 26-24. They improved to a 7-8 record. And now the Buccaneers, because they lost, they fell to a 8-7 record. Now they fell to the second place in the NFC South, and now they don't control his destiny. So now the most probably they're going to be eliminated, because if the Falcons win the next week in the 17, or if they win in the next week, they are going to be eliminated. And in the Monday Night Football, yesterday, the Green Bay Packers didn't have any problem. They had an easy game. They humiliated the New Orleans, and they won the game 34-0. There is not much to say about this game, because the Packers had an easy game. They were leading 21-0 in the halftime, and in the end, they scored another 13 points in the second half, and they won this game 34-0. With this victory, the Packers shoot out the Saints, and this is the first time in the season that the team was shut out in a game. So with this victory, the Packers improved to a 11-4 record, and they clinched a spot to the playoff. The Saints fell to a 5-10 record, and they were eliminated like 2 weeks ago. So who are the NFL standing in the NFC East? Remember that the Bills clinched a spot to the playoffs, and they won the AFC East with a 12-2 record. They are second set in the AFC. The Dolphins are in the hunt to enter to the playoff, but they're going to be eliminated because it's almost impossible to qualify. And the Jets and the Patriots are eliminated. In the AFC West, the most probably three teams are going to qualify to the playoff. The Kansas City Chiefs clinched a spot to the playoffs, and they won this game. They won this division 3 weeks ago. The AFC West, they have the same record in the league, 14-1. They have 5 straight victories, and they win if they defeat the Steelers tomorrow, they're going to be the number 1 set in the AFC. The Chargers clinch a spot to the playoffs, when they defeated the Broncos the last Thursday. They have the same record as the Broncos, 9-6, and the Broncos only need one victory to qualify to the playoff. And the Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league. In the NFC North, the Steelers of the Ravens, clinch spot to the playoffs. They have the same record, 10-5. The Steelers miss an important opportunity to win the AFC North the last Saturday where they lost against the Ravens, and now the Steelers need to win the last two games or win one game, and wait that the Ravens only win one game or lose both games to win this division. It looks very impossible, and the most probably the Ravens are gonna to win this division, and the Bengals still have possibilities to enter to the playoffs. It's very difficult, but they need to win both the last two games. Wait that the Broncos don't win both games, to qualify to the playoffs, and the Browns are eliminated. And the AFC South, the Texans won the division, the AFC South, even that they lost against the Kansas City Chiefs. They won this division by a back-to-back season, 9-6. They are not playing a very great football, but in the end they could win the division. And the Colts are still in the hunt to enter to the playoffs. It looks very difficult because they need to win the last two games and wait that the Broncos don't win. Both games look difficult and very impossible. And the Jaguars and the Titans are one of the worst teams in the league. And in the NFC East, the Eagles clinched a spot to the playoffs last week. They have a 12-2 record, and they could have 10 straight victories. They missed the opportunity to win this division because they lost against the Commanders. Then now the Commanders improved to a 10 fair record. They have a three straight victories, and they need to win the last two games. And wait that the Eagles don't win the last two games to win this division. It looks difficult, but not impossible. The Cowboys were eliminated before this game, but they improved to a 7 record. I remember in the season I thought that they were going to win less than 5 games because how about they were playing, but they improved, and now they have won 7 games, and the Giants are the worst team in the league. They have the worst record, 2-13. They have a 10 losing streak, and they are the number 1 pick in the NFL draft 2025. In the NFC West, the Rams are leading this division with a 9-6 record. They have a 4 straight victory, and if the Rams win the last week, they're gonna to win this division. Nobody expected that. The Seattle Seahawks really missed the opportunity to win this division because they have a back-to-back losses, of course, against the top teams like Packers and Vikings, but they were playing both games in home and they couldn't win both games. So nowadays it looks that the Seattle Seahawks are gonna to miss the playoffs because they are not gonna to qualify. And the Cardinals and the 49ers are eliminated. What a deception for the 49ers because I thought they were going to be in the Super Bowl the next Friday, but it's not going to happen. In the NFC North, the best division of the season, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers are clinched a spot to the playoffs. The Lions and the Vikings have the best record in the NFC. The Lions are leading the division and the NFC because they defeated the Vikings. So this is very important because the most probably is that the Lions and the Vikings are gonna to be their games in the next week. So everything will be defined, will be in play in the week 18, where the winner of that game will win the NFC North and the number 1 set in the NFC. This will be amazing. And the Packers, they have been making a tremendous season. They have a 11-4 record, the clinch spot to the playoffs, but because the Lions and the Vikings are better, for that reason they are in the 3rd place in the NFC North. And the Chicago Bears were eliminated. They have a 4-11 record and they have 9 losing streak. And the NFC South, this is amazing because the Falcons because the Falcons win and because the Buccaneers lost, and now the Falcons control its destiny. They have the same record as 87, and because the Falcons defeated the Buccaneers in the both games, if the Falcons win the next week, they are gonna to qualify to the playoffs because it will be impossible to the Buccaneers to qualify to the playoffs. So the Buccaneers miss a tremendous opportunity. They are gonna to be eliminated, and to be honest, this is one of the exceptions. And the Saints and the Panthers are eliminated. So in this video, I talk about the games that were played in this week. There was a lot of teams that were eliminated and a lot of teams that were qualified. Remember, and how are the NFL standings are through our 16 weeks of games. So remember that tomorrow we'll start the week 17 with the NFL Christmas Day, and today in the letter I'm gonna to give my prediction about this week. So I hope you like this video, and if you have any comment or suggestion, you can write me in any of my social media platforms. See you next video. Cheers.